Hello and good morning. This is going to deviate a little bit from what we normally do. So yes, the podcast is about fitness, food, and finance, but it's the end of the year and I've been trying to throw in some fun little content while I'm out and away. So what I'm going to do is put in some D&D that we played back in 2018. So it's a couple generations of McCanns. I got my father, so we call him, his name is Mac. The kids call him Grandpa or Gramps. And then we've got, of course, myself. And then my sister, Justine, she is 20 years younger than me, or 18 years younger than me. And then Evan and Levi, my two sons. And then also Joseph, my nephew, comes in, so my brother's kid. And then my friend Justin jumps in as well, Justin Lebrecht. So we got a whole bunch of McCanns that play here and there, and then we got a buddy jumping in. And anyway, this is kind of what D&D is like. We had intended a long time ago to put together this podcast, and I just could not make it work, getting it edited and out there. And it was just, back in 2018, it was a pain in the rear. So what I'm going to do is two things. One, just, hey, these are the next episodes coming out. I call it Mick D&D because it's McCann and D&D, but it's a live play. And you get to see a little bit of what D&D is like. The gym has a D&D group, and I've got a couple other friends that I play with. It's a lot of fun. Board games, D&D, whatever. It's just a great opportunity to get together, and super low cost, and just a lot of fun. So what I'm going to do also, in addition to introducing, hey, these are the next shows that are coming up, is this is how I actually am now able, 2018, so 5, 6, 7. So 7 years later, the tools have changed such that it is super easy. So what we did to begin with, I thought was smart, but was really tough. Everyone had their own computer and everyone had the mic I'm using right now. It's I think it's like a M or a Q82 or something. Anyway, everyone's got the same mic attached to the computer, and then we would play the game and everyone would talk into their own mic. Every once in a while we would clap, and I would look for the spike and I would put everything back together using the spike, because what would happen is every computer had a slight drift as the recording went off. So in a few hours of recording, or I don't know, we would record for maybe 2 hours, but in those 2 hours of recording, it would drift enough that you would hear echoes and it just wouldn't sound good at all. So I'd have to line those up and then go through and cut things out. And then, it just took a lot of work. I used Audacity. It's a free tool. And if you're watching the video, you could see below, it kind of looks like this string of pulses, and you had to go through and edit all that. Now I'm using a tool, Descript, and I wanted to show you the tools you can use now, 7 years later, that make it so super easy. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pause real quick. Evan and I are headed to the gym, and I'll come back and finish this. For you, it'll be 1 second of a break. For me, it'll be like an hour and a half. Okay, he's not ready, so we're not breaking yet. If you're watching this, what I did is I already uploaded one of the episodes to be Descripted to all the AI tools, and now I'm just saving it into my folder. So I'm going to show you that. So basically I'm clicking on an old name. I've already copied out the actual name. So it's called I Will Shake My Head No. So it is episode 4. So I'm just highlighting and then editing the wording. So it says Mick D&D Descript episode 4. I Will Shake My Head No. I'm going to save that to my hard drive. Boom, it's in there. All right. So I'm in Descript. It's a subscription AI tool for podcasting. I think for the most part, they want you to do video casting, but not doing video. On the top left, they've got this home button. I'm going to click that bad boy. I'm going to say projects, and then it's got recent projects. I'm going to start a new project. I just did episode 4, so I'm going to pick an audio project and then pull up my folder. I'm going to grab the 5th one. So simply drag and drop it. I love this. Man, dragging and dropping is such an awesome little tool. You would have to name something specific and then find it and rename it correctly and make sure it all worked. It was such a pain. So what it's doing right now, I dropped it in there. It is transcribing it. So the idea is when most people look at the audio file, the pulses of the audio. So, man, how would I describe this? If you're watching the video, you can see it. It's at the bottom of the screen. But imagine a straight line, and then every time you speak, it pulses up and down. So it's an amplitude, right? And it gives a bunch of that every time somebody talks or when you overtalk each other. So you'd have to go in and identify where you wanted to start and stop the edit for whatever you were doing. So if you didn't like a section where, I don't know, Levi was saying some things, I wanted to delete it out, I'd have to go and find it, clip that specific spot from the point where he was, I think he said, okay, the word starts here, there's the pulse, I think. What Descript does is it's going to create a transcript of what we just did. Now, I don't actually need that, but it is a neat little tool. What happens then is someone can edit based on the words themselves. So if I want to find Levi's part, I can actually just see the words and then highlight it and say delete, and then it knows, okay, that was right here, and I don't have to get the timing or anything correct. Okay, so I uploaded it. It took about 60 seconds to process it and come up with a script. It is all in there. Now I'm going to do a few things with this AI tools, which would also take me forever. So the first thing I do is an edit for clarity. So it's going to go through and take out a bunch of some of the filler words, some of the redundant things, and it's going to, based on AI and the large language model of I know what should come next, it can actually pull out some of the side tangents we have. Now, some of the side tangents are kind of fun, but it would normally take me, let's see, I think it's something like for every hour of audio, it would take like 4 hours to like undo or edit. And so this is going to do all the editing super fast, right? Let's see. Oops, it went away. Where does it go? I told it to do it, and then it said no. Well, I'll have to remember where I'm at because Evan's coming down. So I'll see you guys in about an hour and a half, which will be 1 second. Man, I love technology. Yeah, so it's been about an hour and a half. And for you, a couple seconds. We went to the gym and did the 8:30 class with a bunch of folks. What did we just do? Man, the Chief is one of our test workouts. So one of the fun parts about CrossFit is you get to redo the workouts. And as the year goes on, right, you progress and get better and stronger in skills and whatever. And I scored better. So the last time I did this, my record was 17 rounds and 9 reps. This time I did 22 rounds and 6 reps or something like that. Anyway, CrossFit is awesome. Y'all should do it. Back on to how to create a podcast using Descript. Now, do you have to use Descript? No, I'm sure they all work very similar. So I clicked on the, yeah, I uploaded it. Last time we did this, I uploaded the new one. Come open this chest. And so the first thing I clicked on was go in there and find the redundant part. So the AI tool went in there and said, hey, edit for clarity. It came up with a bunch of things. I'm going to go down to the bottom and say, let's see, remove, ignore. No, I want to keep them all. Let's see, how do I do this? Done. I want to, So it's got them grayed out, which means it's not going to say them, but I want to go ahead and clip them out because I don't want them. Oopsie, AI tool, edit for clarity. Oh, already did it. All right, whatever. I'm going to go to the next one then. So edit to clarity has already been done. And essentially what it does is it skips over words and things that sort of deviate from the plan. That's cool. So then I'm going to click on this one called Studio Sound. I'm going to let it take away any background effects or not effects, some accidents or whatnot, and maybe eliminate some of the other, we talked too far away from that microphone and all that. When I use Buzzsprout to process these podcasts, it actually cleans all that up. So if you just listen to the one from the other day where Verity and I were both on here, we were not equidistant from the microphone, yet it made it sound like we were. So that's what it's doing right now. It's going through and cleaning up the peaks and valleys and all that audio. So I'm going to hit pause and let it do its thing. I'm going to go grab some coffee. I'll be right back. All right, that finished up. There's nothing really to see that it does. It's all in the audio, what you hear. So I'm going to click AI tools again and say remove filler words. Since it has the script, it can go there and say, hey, I see filler words. It says it sees 641 filler words. So I'm going to say find all filler words. Yes. And then remove all filler words. And it's wells, I mean, right? Stuff like that. So it just crunched it down and did it. That is awesome. And then I'm going to go AI tool again and shorten the word gaps. So what it's doing here is looking for, right now it's set to 3 seconds. So any gap that's more than 3 seconds, it found 33 of them, it's going to bring down to 1 second. So I'm going to say shorten all. It's just getting rid of dead air. And that's perfect. That's what you want. So originally this podcast was like an hour and 37 minutes, and now it's down to an hour and 34 minutes. So we knocked out 3 minutes of just random stuff, right? Actually, I haven't knocked out. That's interesting. So technically it's still in there is the edit for clarity. It did not delete that, or it's not going to show up, but it didn't delete it out. I wonder how I can, let's click on edit for clarity. It already did it one time. Yeah, it already has edit for clarity. How do I tell it that I want to get rid of all of those words? Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can find that for you. Well, I can't find it. Anyway, I'll see it when I do the rendering. So just from the shortening the gaps, removing the ums, that was about 4 minutes of stuff that came out. The other edits, the unintended things that we went off track on that it says, hey, I don't think this is important. Some of it is just funny jokes, and I'm going to get rid of those because, well, it's super fast in doing it, and I just hate taking the time to go back through and edit. So this will allow it to be done. I mean, we did this in 2018, so that's 7 years later, and I'm finally getting around to doing the edits, right? So I'm going to have this export. I'm just simply going to copy the name, come open this chest. I'm going to say export. Click on export this bad boy. It's going to do its thing and then ask me where I want to name it. And then I'll upload it into Buzzsprout and you'll see it pop up. So this, I guess, audio right here, this little podcast is 11 minutes long right now. And most of it was me just trying to explain the things to do. So in reality, it takes less than 5 minutes to do all the work that I need to do to get it out. So yeah, it's super awesome. Trying to do this in 2018 was dreadfully painful. Right now, super easy. But I still have, I think, 5 more episodes that we did that everybody's tracks are their own and I haven't combined them and realigned them. That part is still tough. You have to do it manually. But if I can do that, I think I can throw it in here and then it'll remove the claps and all the other stuff that we did to kind of align them up. Anyway, super cool stuff. If you guys are into podcasting, let me know. Totally help you out. If you want to get into it or you're trying to just do something better, yeah, hook me up. Or hit me up and I'll hook you up. Anyway, so the next couple episodes are our D&D campaign from back in 2018. You're going to hear Levi with his little kid voice. I think Evan sounds like Evan and everyone else sounds the same, like, because we're adults. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy. Take care.